Hey guys, Bowie here, and this is Things I've Learned with Miracle's PA in 720. As you all know, PA is my favorite hero, and I did some research, did some digging, and for the first time in my life, and probably the last time, I have some tips to give to our boy Miracle. But before we get into that, this is a PA versus Tinker lane. Surprisingly, this lane is not as hard towards PA as some might think, and it gets even better after this new patch. But let's see how Miracle plays it. The fact that you have Stifling Dagger makes the laser way less effective for the Tinker in shutting your CS down. It also kinda makes up for PA's low base damage, because as long as you're prepared, you can commit it after a hit you thought you would finish a creep, just to make sure you get it. This is an interesting match because Miracle learned Blur before Blink Strike, so I thought that he actually read the patch and he was going to use it to its full potential, but in all fairness, this game was played in the first day of the patch, so I think Miracle probably didn't read the patch notes thoroughly and really didn't understand the full potential of the hero. With Blur now, you can dodge all kinds of stuff, from attacks to stuns to stuff like Tinker's Missile. Here, for instance, he could have easily kept the self going. Later on, he also gets dove by the Tinker, almost dies, but he could have dodged all of the damage. Since Blur has a 0.7 fade time, the Tinker would lose the target for laser, wasting the laser cast point and also dodging the missile. I'm not flaming Miracle, in fact he wins this lane and the game incredibly easily, despite not using the super clutch mechanic that PA has, so it just goes to show how strong PA is right now regardless of the Blur mechanic. I mean, he does die here, but he wins the lane and the game, trust me. I'm not going to focus so much in the laning stage here, it's all about drawing aggro to avoid right clicks from the Tinker, bringing a lot of cells because of the laser damage, but as you can see, Miracle is going for the triple Wraith Band build. Still mentioning Tinker, the raindrops not only allow you to spam dagger and blink easier when you're farming, but it deals decently well with the Tinker, although as we talked about, you have a pretty easy way to dodge the missiles and the laser is pure damage, so the raindrops doesn't really care about it, but the mana regen is pretty good regardless. I think we talked very extensively about Tinker in our videos, and abusing the laser cooldown is one of the many ways to try and get kills in the early game. Miracle does just that as Dazzle rotates, but he cannot finish him off with Ogre being there as well. In fact, once Miracle has scooped the Gra, he keeps pressuring the Tinker once he commits the laser, especially thanks to the raindrops that he has so the missile does no damage. Miracle is a firm believer of the Battle Fury build, rarely deviates from that, and in this new meta of no Aquila and low mana regen, I think this is one of the most effective PA builds. Because of no mana regen, I also believe that Treads, especially now that it gives you damage, is probably the best boots available for PA. Getting the Tread switch and the damage makes your early game insane. I've seen games where the PA lost the lane or didn't felt safe farming the lane, and what you see after level 7 is extra points in evasion so that you can farm jungle. With the triple Wraith Bands build, you're a beast in damage, and pairing that with evasion means you almost lose no damage farming creeps. In this case though, Miracle is dominating thanks to the dagger spam and the fact that Tinker knows he needs to hold on the laser or he might get jumped after it's over. A small detail maybe worth mentioning is that if you're thread switching to deal damage to an enemy, you should go back to Agi as fast as possible since the damage is only calculated when the dagger hits, meaning you get extra damage by actually going back to agility. Bane finally rotates in the lane, and thanks to the super bursty build, they find a kill on the Tinker before the grip ends. Thanks to the fact that Miracle never left the lane, he has a lot of levels, does more strength, that adds up to 162 HP, and he has treads, meaning that he can tread switch to strength if he gets jumped, adding up to 220 extra damage. This means that he can easily go for the damage talent without feeling squishy, and that damage scales insanely well with so much attack speed that he has. The triple Wraith Band build and treads definitely allows you to farm ancients, but if you're low HP, you can actually use Blur to farm ancients without them reacting to you, since it does not break during the attacks. By the way, it used to work on Roshan until a couple of hours before this video being uploaded, but it was fixed. When the tier 1 fell down, Miracle focused hard in finishing the Battle Fury. He kept farming as effectively as possible, using his Blink Strike to get faster to camps, or to get to waves faster, but make sure to tread switch or else your mana's gonna end up very fast because you have no Aquila. With the buffs to the attack speed on Blink Strike and the extra intelligence you get from treads, you're going to farm at an absurd rate with these items. Since Miracle is not being pressured at all, Manta is an amazing item to have on this hero. The Dispel versus Tinker is extremely necessary. Having the Manta when Jugger ults is also nice, but guess what? You can actually dodge Omnislash with your Blur. Manta is still an amazing item to have on this hero. By moving faster, you get into Blink Strike range faster for other creeps and for lanes, and you just own the entire map. You might think I'm over-exaggerating, but in this game, Miracle almost had 1000 GPM of PA. That's the GPM that Artesis are coordinating with double Midas, double Necro, and Travels God in a competitive match. This hero truly farms like no other in this game with Battle Fury and Yasha. The fact that you can clear waves with your level 20 talent without showing, or even before that, just commit Blur to take it down almost at no risk makes this hero insanely strong right now. The game was quiet for a while, but once Miracle gets his level 18 and his Manta is on the way, he decides it's time to start participating in fights. Note how he approaches it though. You need to know when to jump, especially when you go for a non-BKB build. Bane died early, his item is still coming, and there's no good angle for him in this fight. So even though he's mega farmed, it makes no sense to join that fight. Another thing that really helps PA in farming is the reduction in obstruction between camps. Not only there's less trees blocking you to see other creeps, they are more tightly packed together, and a hero like PA can just draw aggro with Dagger and use Blink Strike to farm insanely fast. Even though Miracle has a 3-2-2 score, don't be afraid of this Desolator build he's going for. In a game where he's against a Jugger, having BKB to just jump the fight and then get jumped can backfire quite a bit, especially when you don't know that Blur can just join the ult, and it's pretty clear that Miracle doesn't know that, at least in this game. That being said, in a game you have full control of, Desolator is great. They did buff the minus armor, and with the towers being super squishy, reducing their armor even more makes PH super good at ratting. Eventually, he noticed that Radiant is Roshan, and since he's KO'd so much, look how he zones the enemies, and even when he jumps, he's tanky enough to dodge the Omni Slash. While he never committed a Blur to take it out, now the Jugger attacks every single time instead of actually dealing physical damage with like the Omni Slash hits. It's weird, but now he's literally attacking so you can evade every single attack. That's why the Jugger ult was so good against PA before, because it was literally like, it would just hit every time. Omni Slash is not as good against PA anymore. He could have dodged with Blur, he didn't, but with the Manta he's gonna be fine. Another good thing of this greedy build against Tinker is that if you go BKB, he can easily just itemize for Ghost Scepter, whereas with this build he deals so much damage that the Tinker melts before he can even laser or even press any buttons. If we go back for the Tinker fight, note how Miracle only jumps when the Tinker turns away, giving him some extra time until the laser is committed, instead of jumping when he was facing him. That being said, if you go for this build without having a good understanding of how strong you are in comparison to everyone, you risk just dying every single time because you're either going to jump at the wrong time or at the wrong fights. That fight keeps evolving and Miracle follows suit. Note that he only jumps after the Fire Blast and the Clap get committed. Omni Slash is already known, as we saw, and this is an easy ultra kill. Being greedy with PA requires that you have above average awareness of every cooldown that might hurt you, so you can properly use all the gold that you acquire to full potential. As you can see with the weaker towers and Miracle's minus 11 armor, the tier 1 tower melts like butter and the game starts to fall apart. Miracle refused to go BKB this game because of the Juggernaut problem, and I wonder if he would go for a different item if he knew about how Blur works. In this scenario though, knowing that Jugger already has an item going towards MKB, he decides that Scotty is the best tanky item that synergizes well with PA. Satanic gives now way less attack than before, and while getting lifesteal from 3 daggers is amazing, the effective HP you get from Scotty and the kiting potential, especially against Juggernaut, is very useful. Now that Dagger hits magic immune heroes, you can proc the Scotty slow on Juggernaut even through Blade Fury while being tankier against their burst damage. As his Scotty gets ready, Dyer loses 2 heroes, but seeing that Jakiro is affected by bad juju, he tries his luck even though he gets the use off. Look how the brute units just explode to the sheer damage. Even with the healing ward, Gork stands no chance. It's actually crazy how Miracle makes PA look so strong even though he never used Blur one time this game. The Wraith Bands, the Battle Fury build, and the way the camps are distributed now allowed him to farm so fast that the Blur change was never really necessary. Just tanks the Omni Knight with his thick HP and Manta and gets out while never going back to Fountain since he has so much HP regen. Knowing that Omni is down, look at what he does here. He finds Gork going up the high ground, and thanks to his Scotty and Manta, he shreds the poor boy. And the game's pretty much over here. Hey guys, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing the videos. If you like the videos and you want to support me, I have new goals on my Patreon, and it really allows me to sustain myself while I create these videos and try to get a casting career or talent career going. I have a Twitter where I talk memes and Dota. I have a Twitch where I play Artifact, Dota, and cast Dota. I also have an Instagram and a Discord channel that you can check out. Thank you all for being here. Bye.